here we are living in a basement, grandma and grandpa's basement, about to give birth to our first child, $700,000 in debt. We all fight with our husbands. We all scream at our kids. We all have a messy house. We all have the same shit. We all do. I don't care who you think doesn't. We all do. It's human.
I think too that women, we just don't ever put ourselves first. We
No,
always
never.
put someone else there, in front of us. And then we don't feel worthy enough that we can invest that into ourselves and that we do deserve to be healed and to be happy.
So by the time we're 20 something years old and we're women and we're like asked, what do we want to be? We're like, I have no idea. Someone else's success is not your failure. Just because someone else is doing something well doesn't mean you're not. It just means they get to have their moment. You get to be excited for them. And here you are in the darkest ball corner, curled up, and you are able to just... Are you going to say, hey, and I'm just cutting you off? Okay, do your thing. Do your
No,
part.
we're good. No, I was going to give this lady a total Rebel Roots intro as she's telling me she's recording from her nursery, but I just want everyone to meet Miss Gina Trimmer, I guess owner of Revitalized Womanhood. I've been following you for so long. I met you, I was trying to figure out when we did our podcast together. It had to be like 3 years ago.
Right at the beginning. I met you because Scott came out to you guys and was starting his podcast back then. And so he's like, you would love Evonne. You would love her. You two are just like, and I'm like, yes, I'm on it. I don't need you to tell me anything else. I looked you up and I'm like, yep, you got it. So yeah, you joined me on the Revitalized Womanhood podcast. We need to do another one. I have been, let's take this like completely off topic here, but I have been in a hiatus, kind of. Like my podcast I did for 3 whole years consistently, 2 a week. I have my guest episode on Tuesdays and my kind of just me, my solo on Fridays. And consistent for 3 years, never missed, boom, 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 boom. We've traveled. I even did it while we were traveling. I did it. And this time felt different. This time traveling with my family so I had recorded some. I had some kind of in the docket that were going while we were away still that were pre-recorded. Did I record any while we were out this time? Actually, I think I did record.
I think you did. I remember seeing you.
Because I had a book that we were reading in our community. So I recorded with that author. Anyway, but after a minute, I was just like, the whole point, the whole purpose of this specific traveling period is because we knew this would be our last kind of time as a whole family, because we've been doing it since 2017. We left the very first time when our kids were 5 and 2. And now our son is 14 and he wants to go to high school. He wants to play football. He wants to, right? So he came to us and he said, listen, guys, listen, I don't want to do this anymore. He says, I want to have a life. I want to date. I want to drive. I want to, and we were like, oh, it's true. This is our dream. And they've come along on it with us. And I believe in that. I believe your kids are along on your journey until they become adults. I truly believe that. I find that people who live for their children so much so are the ones who become resentful of their children. They become resentful of their spouses. Because you're not living your own dream, right? You're not living in your own.
Somebody else.
Right.
And I totally agree with that. I just see some of the parents that do that and live through their kids. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, this is their moment to do their foundation, their building blocks and all that. And I'm like, you're sabotaging it because you want to live through them because you are missing a piece of your life.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I don't know your whole story because the last time that we talked, we just talk on DMs and through comments and stuff. We have never met in person.
Yeah.
But you have to take me back to the 2017 because I don't know how you got started traveling and you've been gone. And I was trying to meet up with you and you're like, oh, I'm in Australia. And you're like, I won't be home until
next
Now you
March.
just got
Like,
home.
right. We
Yeah.
weren't even coming home in December originally, but well, it goes way back. It goes back, and it will touch on that whole living your dream and not living other people's dreams. And that's that is the foundation of Revitalized Womanhood. That is what it's based on and built around is you can have a good life, right? You can say, I have a good life. I have a good husband. I have good kids. I have, I love my life and still have that feeling inside of you of like, but there's more. But there's more. There's more to me than just a wife. There's more to me than just a mother. There's more to me than just a position at a company. There's more to me. There's more. We all have that in us that's more. And it's because, like you said before we started recording, from our childhood. There's things put in us, specifically in us. I call them God-given gifts. I call them like it was planted in me specifically. Yours was planted in you specifically. And it was planted there to grow. But over time, like when we're kids, we're living it. We're like, it's in there. I'm going to let it grow. I'm going to let it shine. But then around the age of maybe 8 or so, you start worrying about that you are maybe not the right size as all the other girls, or maybe someone tells you something's dumb that you did, or, and then you start kind of
school, or whenever they go into school is probably
when they start being around all these other kids, just little shits, all of them. But every time something like that happens, it's like a new layer buries that whatever you're trying to grow, right? That seed that's been planted, something else buries it, something else buries it, something else. So by the time we're 20 something years old and we're women and we're like asked, what do we want to be? We're like, I have no idea. I ask every single one of the women that join my community what they want to be. And the answer I get is a good wife and a good mother. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a kind of a given. Let's just table that because that's kind of a given.
A good human.
Yeah, like a good human. That's the kind of just a given. But like, do you want to be an astronaut? Do you want to, like, could you ask a 5-year-old what they want to be? And it's like fireman, ballerina, blah, 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 blah. They'll say whatever they want. But because we're adults, we think, oh, that's a dream. That's make-believe. And now there's nothing left for me, right? There's nothing to go forward. It's too late to do anything like that. I couldn't do that. So anyway, long story long, let's go back. This whole traveling thing started in when was the recession? 2008 to 2010. It finally hit us in 2010 here in St. George. I mean, it was hitting a lot of people before us, but it finally really affected my husband and myself in 2010. And I was pregnant with our first. I was like 7 months pregnant or so. And we were having our home repossessed. We were having our cars repossessed. We were having this whole life that we'd built around. We were making so much money too. We were in the construction industry. And St. George, Utah is one of the fastest growing cities in the nation. It's just crazy. And so just like Phoenix and Las Vegas and California, we got hit so hard with the recession and all of a sudden, boom. So not only did we lose everything, we were like $650,000 in debt that we could not just go bankrupt. We couldn't let go of it because it was, it had a guarantee on it from my father-in-law's property, their farm, their beautiful ranch. So here we are living in a basement, grandma and grandpa's basement, about to give birth to our first child, $700,000 in debt, right? And we're just like, oh, what do we do? So my husband, bless his heart, who had kind of been in this, I identified it as this deep depression that he was in, playing like Call of Duty every day in this. He'd just go into his office in our house and just turn off all the lights and hide. Yeah, he didn't know what to do. Like he didn't know. And he came to me finally, and he had been reading Dave Ramsey, and he said, okay, what do you want out of life? I didn't expect him to ask me that because I was, as I've been taught or exampled of, the husband leads. The husband, he will tell me what we do. And I'm doing my thing along the way as well. Like I was working as an emergency dispatcher and whatever. I'm doing my thing along the way, but he leads. Okay, what do you want to do, honey? What do you want? Okay, I will back you up in that, right? That was my position. And so for him to come to me and say, what do you want out of life? He explains it is kind of like, at that point, it was like, well, we just kind of blew up that life. So maybe let's try something else. And I was like, to be a wife and mom and have a nice house. And I gave the answer that was what I'm supposed to do, right? Yeah, what I'm supposed to do. And he goes, yeah, and that's all good. But what if we traveled the world? And I'm like, who can do that? People can't do that. I was raised in a family of 8 children. I mean, first generation away from the farming. My grandfather was a farmer. My mom lived on the farm. They made all their own clothes. They were such humble background. And then my mom married my dad, who moved her to the big city, which is the suburbs, the big city. And we were a 1-income family with 8 kids. So all of our food was from the garden, which looking back is funny because she was like the OG. That's what all the women want right now. It's like, I do my own bread. I have my own garden. I'm living, homeschooling, whatever. That was my mom. And I hated it, right? I was like, we're weird and we're nerdy and we're like, I don't want that. I want the Gerbeau jeans and I want did I just drop that? Yeah, that's aging us, right? The Gerbeau jeans. I wanted the Gerbeau jeans and so anyway, so I'm like, people travel the world. That's what rich people do. That's like what Trump does. That's like what, that's what rich people do. And he goes, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Yeah. Okay. So we started with a goal together, right? No longer Rick's dream, no longer Gina's dream, whatever that is. This is our dream. And this is what we have to do. And here we are, we're $700,000 in debt and blah, blah, blah. So I'm working. He can't work, but he has to keep pretending to work basically to keep it going because we got to figure it out. And so every penny we got for the next 6 years was pretty much, this is our goal, right? We have a goal. And in the meantime, I mean, it's such a long story. Go listen to my podcast episodes and Revitalized Womanhood. We talk about it a lot. Any episode with Rick, especially, we talk in detail about it all. But basically, it was like he would hustle. And it was like he found this boat that was for sale. And so he bought it with what little we had. And then he fixed it up a little bit and put like some nicer things into it and then flipped it and sold it for more. And then he found a piece of land that he flipped and sold for more. And then he found another piece of land that he just had his grandpa go in and worked for him, and he cleared the land and then he rented it to somebody to store his equipment on. You know what I mean? It was like this to this to this. It was like the tiniest movements. It wasn't a big grand thing. It was the tiniest movements. And here we were with $20,000 finally saved, and we bought our first actually, that's not true. We gave someone a high interest loan, and the collateral was our very first vacation rental, a condo. He ended up, it was, I think we gave him $20,000 and I think it was worth like $60,000 or something at the time. Anyway, I don't even know. We ended up having that condo. So our very first vacation rental. And then that spitballed into 8. So by the time we left in 2017, I think we had 6 vacation rentals, but all in the while whatever. So things were happening, right? Things were starting to happen. But so basically from 2010, my son was born in 2011 to 2017, February of 2017, we left the country with one-way tickets to Paris, and we're like, bye-bye. And we didn't know what that meant. We didn't know what that was going to look like. We didn't have any plans other than 3 months. We can do 3 months in Europe first because they allow us to be in Europe for 3 months. And then that turned into 3 months in Australia. And then that turned into 3 months in New Zealand. And that turned into Bali, and that turned into Singapore, and that turned into, right? So we're doing all these things. We came home December of 2019 with the intention of getting pregnant again. So that would have been, there's a 6-year gap between those two. So it would have been 5 years. And 2020 hit. We came home December of 2019, and then boom, March of 2020. We all know what that meant. Like, whoops, we're all home. So we had that baby, and then as soon as we could, we left. He was born in COVID, and as soon as we could, we left with him. And so we've just kind of been doing this, and then it's kind of been a pattern because same thing. We got home in December of 2023. to get pregnant with baby girl. My husband's like, what? We're having a fourth? What? Like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what's happening. And so we got pregnant with her, and then we left when she was 2 months old. 2 months old, and
so you did have her in the States.
Yes. Yeah. We've had both. We've had all of our kids in the States. Yeah. We talked about doing it differently, and I was just like, nah.
Yeah. Wasn't one of the goals.
No, wasn't one of the goals. But so she's already well traveled. We've done 3-month road trip through the US with her to finish up. We got all 50 states, and then she's been to Costa Rica. She's been to Australia, New Zealand, Bali, Singapore, Malaysia. And we were going to do quite a few more. So like I said, we weren't supposed to come home right now. So December seems to be our month. It's just kind of like pulls us home. Pulls us home. And man, have we turned into different people. We've grown so much in the process. Travel changes you. It really does. I will give anybody that advice that if you want to really learn yourself and what you're capable of, travel. And if you want to really test the relationship you have with someone else, travel with them. And if you want to really test your commitment to each other, travel with your children full time for months and months at a time.
Yeah, I think I messaged you several times. I'm like, it just gives me anxiety. I was like, I am a homebody. I just want to be around animals. And you're talking about, I'm getting ready to travel. The last time we were supposed to do this, you were heading somewhere, I think to New Zealand or Singapore or something. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, to do it with all the kids, but I love it. Give me an example that you think that you learned. Like you said, it changes you.
I will give you a perfect example, because it's funny too, because when we started this, I wasn't on this journey because Revitalized Womanhood started July of 2022. So I was not into self-help, growth, wellness. Like I had no idea what any of this was. I was a mom. My husband was into podcasts and reading books and devouring information on like management and Good to Great, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and all these amazing books like Jordan Peterson and just all of the greats, right? All of these amazing things. And he'd always be like, you need to read this. You need to read this. And I was like, no, I want to listen to the vampires. I'm going to just listen to my stories, right? I'm just, leave me be. Let me be the hot mess mom I want to be, right? And then, do you know Ryan Mickler, Order of Man?
Yes.
So his wife, Trish, I'm good friends with his wife, ex-wife now, Trish, and I heard her on a podcast actually kind of called me out. She wasn't really talking to me. She was talking about the hot mess mom. And she is the most put together, wonderful. I mean, she's like I talked about my mom. She's an OG, just like my mom. She has her garden. She has her animals. She has her kids that she homeschools. She has all of these systems set up for them. And she's just like, it's a well-oiled machine in there. But for some people like that, like I love Brooke Raybould. If you know her on Instagram at all, I mean, she is just thunk, 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 which I love. Don't get me wrong, but man, it's intense. That level of keep it togetherness and you have to be this perfect kind of vibe, which I know she's not saying that, but it is. It comes off as that. But I need that. So I'm not giving her a hard time, but I need that. I need that to bring me back sometimes. But Trish, on the other hand, is it's warm, it's loving, it's don't kill yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's, anyway. And so that kind of was in the beginning of my journey for there's more. There is more. I have a good life. Look, I'd already traveled all over the world from 2017 to 2022. I'd already traveled all over the world. I love my husband. I love my kids. But then I think the thing that really triggered it was with my third. I had a traumatic emergency C-section, and it gave me postpartum depression. I had postpartum after that, and I'd never experienced that before, right? And so again, lessons, learning, things that are like blessings in disguise, because now, anyway, you have all these aha moments, right? And I remember vividly laying on the floor however long after you have a C-section that you can start doing ab work again, whatever. And I'm fit. I go to the gym every day. I work out even when we travel. I'm a very fit person. And my friend sent me her ab challenge that she does, and I laid on the floor and I just cried. I couldn't even do the most simple thing. And my brain is going, you are so weak. What is wrong with you? You can do this. This is the stupidest thing. You've done this 5 billion times. But my body's like, right? I can't do this. And I sobbed. I just laid there on the floor sobbing. And I videotaped myself too. I actually had the wherewithal to record it and think, I want to remember this because I'm going to be so much better later. I'm going to be so much stronger later. But I want to remember this moment when I felt so defeated and so down. And I thought, there's more. There's more than this. What am I? I'm a mom. I'm a wife. What am I? There is so much more. Gina has so much more to give. And that was that seed flicking me from the inside going, doink, doink, I'm here. I'm here. You do have more. Your purpose, right? Your purpose.
Right.
And it was, I'm like, what do I need to do? And it was, I need community. I began this and so this was actually, I take that back. So this was 2020 when I had him. So my journey to find community started back in 2020. And I joined a couple different communities and I was like, oh, this isn't quite the fit. They were great. They were whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's not really what I'm looking for. Blah, blah, blah. And then randomly after a hunt in Hawaii. So the joke is that the Revitalized Womanhood the seed was born in Hawaii in the middle of nowhere between 2 men on a hunting trip. That's like the most random place for it to begin. And so Rick and Ryan were on a hunting trip in Hawaii, and Ryan had said something to Rick about, would Gina want to start this for women? Basically what Order of Man is for men. Would she want to do this for women? And Rick's like, I can ask her. And when they brought that to me, it wasn't even like a hum or a ha. It was like a holy hell yes. It was like, that's it. I can't find the community that I'm looking for because it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So I will create it. So I've just gone a way, 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 long way away from the question you asked, even though I answered it a few times in there. But to be very specific about the answer, that because of all of this I've done, and because of all the work I've been doing, I look back on 2017 when we first left as something very interesting, because when we lost everything, we were living like keeping up with the Joneses, right? We were having the cars, we were having the big dog chopper, and we were going on the trips, and we were doing all the things that were what everybody was supposed to do, right?
Yeah, that made you happy.
That made us happy. Did it? I mean,
No.
But when you lose everything, it's like shame and like embarrassment, right? And then where are all these people that you were so eager to impress? They're not there. They're not crying in the dark like when you've lost everything and you've got a $10,000 bill for your brand new baby that was born and had to go to the NICU, or you're living in a basement now, like, right? It's
throw
just,
you away, and
it's like, where are they? And not even in a bad way, like they abandon us, but they're worrying about themselves, right? Everybody, you got to worry about yourselves. Everybody was going through it. And I realized so much in those times living in that basement that who gives a shit about any of that crap? Who cares what anyone thinks? Who cares if I'm not driving the coolest car? Who cares if I'm whatever? You know what I love even more than any of that? Not having a payment. Okay. Right. Like, please, I will never have a car payment again. We drive the oldest cars. It's so funny. Like my 2008 Saturn Vue that I bought with 12,000 miles on it in 2019, whatever, I wrote a check for, right? And I love it. I love it. It's the cutest little car. It's my favorite. My brand new car, because we have 4 children now, so we just had to get a bigger car, right? My brand new car is a 2004 Chevy Tahoe that has legit 40,000 miles on it. It's never been driven. It's Rick's grandparents, and it was just parked in the garage all these years, you know? And I'm like, this is awesome. It's got a bench seat in the front. It's got a cassette deck in it. It's like cherry. I mean, it is like so cute, but I love it. I don't care. My son, we finally broke the windshield coming through the States on our road trip. And I was driving around with it forever because I didn't want to fix it because we were leaving to go travel. I'm not going to fix it. And he's like, Mom, this is so ghetto. This is so embarrassing. And I'm like, the cracked windshield is what embarrasses you? Like, this is a 2004 Chevy Tahoe. Like, okay, if that's what embarrasses you, I will fix it. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So,
You know, I think just to follow up on that, but you said like what do you think is that moment when we stop caring what other people think? Do you think it
never stops? It never stops. And this is the point I'm going to make is in 2017, here I was from 2010 to 2017 thinking I'm above it. I'm over it. I don't care what any of you think. Like, this is me. I'm going to just live my life. Well, then in 2017, we left. But in that, while I was preparing to leave, while we were preparing to get on this trip, I started following a lot of travel families. And this is so, you guys, you have to think, this is when social media was like brand new. This is brand new. I didn't know what Instagram was probably like 2 years before this. So this is brand new. Families going out and traveling like this. The only one really, I mean, there was a few out there, but the one that was the big deal was the Bucket List family here from Utah. And they left with a freaking videographer with, I mean, he sold an app for 40 million. What did he get? I don't know. It's crazy. They've been doing the whole Dancing with the Stars crap, but they were not a travel family like the rest of us who, if someone breaks an arm, it's like 10 grand, we got to go home because that's catastrophic. That takes all of our money, right? They went with a videographer. They went with a nanny. They went with so that was an example of that. But so I'd been following all these other little travel families, which I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what do we need to know? Give me all your tips, tricks, whatever. And in the while of doing that, I started creating in my mind what a travel family had to look like. Yeah. So I started caring. Now, if I don't stand in front of the Eiffel Tower with this big, beautiful flowing dress and document this, I didn't do it right. If I don't have my kids wearing these matching outfits, because I have one friend, she's up in Salt Lake, she's adorable. And that's her niche, is that they all match, their outfits all coordinate. And she told me once they traveled with like 23 pairs of sunglasses because every outfit that they change into has to coordinate. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what I have to do? You know, it became so overwhelming that for a time I had to stop following her because I wasn't doing it right.
Right.
And so I was like, whoa, it took me think of that. Think about how much was wasted in that time of my travels and when I shouldn't have been worrying about that kind of crap, that I wasted being worried about that kind of crap, that a memory wasn't being documented the right way. And I thought, oh my hell, you idiot, you're doing it again, right? It creeps in. It's a practice. It's like anything. You have to be so vigilant and so intentional about all of it. And so, like I say, we all have our levels, even though I'm like, please, I don't care. You should see there's some comments going on in my Instagram right now about we spent Locke's 5th birthday at an elephant park, which is an incredibly beautiful, he's been doing so much conservation work around these elephants. He saved them from Sumatra. They're just butchering. They're slaughtering all these elephants in Sumatra. They're pests. They hate them. They're like huge dogs that they can't control, right? So they tear up the power lines and they eat all the food and the vegetation. And so they just kill them. So this Australian, 20 years ago, I think, anyway, went and saved them, has spent millions of dollars in this whole process of saving these animals, and they each have their own trainers. It's just beautiful. It's adorable. Long story long, sorry. But I'm getting some serious like hate comments on it, but I don't care. I love it. Like I post my Africa stuff. I'm like, you know what? The meat from these animals feeds these people. You've never been there. Don't talk to me about it, right? We harvest all of our meat. This feeds our family. we're not doing this because we're trophy hunters and we leave it there to rot. We do this because not only is it conservation work, it feeds our family. And, what if the grocery store shuts down, God forbid, we can survive. We know how to protect our families. Anyway, same thing with these elephants. If you haven't been there and experienced, I'm sure there are some elephants that have been abused in this way. I'm sure of it. And that's why they get shut down. But these elephants have been with these trainers since they came from Sumatra with them. They love them. They're like their children. They play. They're fun. Anyway, so I'm getting all of this hate stuff on there and I'm like, oh, please. And it does not bother me at all. Because guess why? I know who I am. I know what my values are. So these are the things like, I think it just strengthens you in your resolve, once you can identify, this is what I believe in. Because I did have a girl even pop into the comment section of that and say, you should not say that COVID was a scam. And she's a nurse. And I get what she's saying, that they went through all of the horrible things of COVID. And I'm like, I'm not saying it like that. But guess what? I don't owe anybody an explanation. She's like, well, you kind of seem like you do. And I'm like, no, I was just like having some fun. I happened to have 5 extra minutes to type out something to answer, to reply. And it's like, I was just having some fun, but I don't care. So it's been intentional. So yeah, sorry, that was a long way around that, answering that question.
I love hearing all your stories. I was going to kind of dive into the community that you have because it's just so similar to our past. Exactly. Like 2010 was a huge year where the housing, Don was construction and, he lost his job, which is how we met up. And I quit my steady job when everything was crashing, and I got so much scrutiny because I started the business in the middle of this recession type thing. They're like, what are you doing? And it wasn't until, I don't know, it's kind of the same with you. It's just, I wanted women to live authentically. And I see so much, especially with the social media. And we were just kind of talking about the entrepreneurial and, what everyone's image is. And it's just so many people are living such a non-authentic life that it really does bother me. And the same women that come to you and me, they're just like, I've lost my passion. I don't know what fun is, and I'm like, or I'm not happy. And I'm like, well, there's happiness all around you. You just have to look for it. And it's little things like hot coffee in the morning or a fireplace, fire going in, with your coffee, not a flower girl, but, flowers or something. Yeah. But tell me about your community and the women that you're seeing and all that.
I remember in our conversation, we actually talked about that, about one of my biggest philosophies for me in my life is it's never lonely at the top. I hate when women, as professional women, talk about how lonely it is at the top. And it's like, I get that, like you're saying, I get that it is, but why is it that way for you? Why is it lonely at the top? It's probably because you isolated yourself to the point that it has to be, or you felt like you needed to isolate, or you were in competition, or you had to step on other people to get there. But my community is, we're rising. I never get that saying right, like the tide raises all ships or something. What is that? If we can all basically rise together, we can bring each other up together. If we're all doing this work together, if we really truly are not in competition with each other, not being backbiting, not being gossipy or catty or anything like that. If you truly, your intention is, I want you to succeed. And that, guess what that looks like to me? I am teaching this to my 9-year-old a lot lately. Oh, 9, he's 11 now. Oh my gosh, Evonne. It goes too fast. Well, I started teaching him this when he was 9, but he would come and tell me a story about someone, and it would be about this someone's success, something they did cool. But Mom, I did this too, and I would have been this way. He'd have to put himself in there. And I've had to explain to him, someone else's success is not your failure. Just because someone else is doing something well doesn't mean you're not. It just means they get to have their moment. You get to be excited for them. So for me, it's been huge. It's like a superpower for me. I truly think I have this superpower of, and because I have traveled so much and gotten to know myself so well and gotten to a place with my husband in our life and with my kids. And because of that, I think that is exactly why I'm able to say, I want you to succeed. I want this for you. I want you to be able to get as much joy out of your cup of coffee in the morning as I get out of mine. It's like, I didn't want to say that. That's naughty. It's like so good, that happiness. And it sounds so cheesy, but it's like, I get to make my coffee this morning and I get to sit in my silence for an hour. That's just my special happy place. Or creating this nursery for my daughter, my first daughter. Like I sit in my bed and I just look at her little clothes and I'm just like, it just makes me so happy, right?
Yeah.
And if people can realize that that's what I'm talking about with life. Life can be good. Life can be good, but it can be better and it can be best. Good, better, best. It's like you can live a good life. Sure. But guess what comes with that, I bet, knowing the women, how I know the women, because I've been doing it for long enough, is, but my husband does these things and it really bothers me. Or my kids do these things and it really bothers me, or my house is a mess and I cannot stand it. And I just feel like I'm just drowning in clutter and all of these little things. That's a good life. That's a good life. But you've got some complaints and you've got some struggles and you've got some things that really irritate you or you suffer with, like maybe low self-esteem or limiting beliefs or not good enough boundaries, right? That's in a good life. A better life is when you're actually starting to identify where the things are that are bothering you. You're starting to kind of, maybe. So for me, the big one that's a joke in my community is this living room rug I had. I've had it since Rick and I got married. It's so old. It is adorable and I loved it, but it's so dirty and gross. And it's like one of those tied with cotton shirts ones, Yeah. I loved it. It was like my big purchase when we got married. It was just this really beautiful rug. And then 20 years later, it's disgusting, right? It's disgusting. And every time I look at it in my house, I'm just like, I can't imagine what's living inside all of that. And my kids are crawling around on it, whatever. So finally, Rick's hunting. I mean, this is recently, Evonne. This is like he's very, I'm not going to say cheap, but he's very specific about our money. I mean, he's got PTSD, right? And traveling, we spend, not only we haven't sold everything, we're not the bucket list family. We didn't sell an app or anything. We still have our home here. We still have our cars. But when we go travel, and it's grown over the years, back when we left in 2017, I think it cost us $7,000 a month to travel. And this year it was our budget, and we're a bigger family too, but this year our budget, I think it was like $14,000 a month. So imagine $14,000 a month. So he is frugal. We'll call him frugal. So I'm not replacing this living room rug because my husband would murder me, right? But no, hell no. He's hunting. And I'm like going through my house. I'm in one of those moments because it was probably when I was pregnant and nesting. I'm sure that's when it was. And I ripped that rug out. It was so heavy. Oh man, it was so heavy. I ripped that rug out, threw it out. And I ordered this one from Amazon. I was so excited about it and I got it. And it just like changed my entire view of my house. Like all of a sudden I was happier. All of a sudden I was this different person, like because of this stupid rug in my living room. But the point of that is, what is the stupid rug in your life, right? So if we can identify those things, so that's better, is when you actually identify those things. Best is when you actually do the work to fix the problems. You learn how to communicate to your husband. XYZ bugs me to no end. And if you don't stop doing it, I'm going to murder you in your sleep or whatever, right? You figure out that you, so often with me, especially, and a lot of women that are in my community, we don't want to rock the boat, right? It's fine. Just get over it. It's not worth the fight. It's not worth the argument. Bury it. And guess what? Then it's like resentment. You're burying over here, but resentment's growing over here and you don't even realize it.
When his knife hits the fork just wrong and you just lose it.
He's chewing and you can just hear it. So it's like, I have never been happier in my marriage than when I'm actually now confronting him with things that bother me. Because guess what? We have needs. And we've been so conditioned over all the years of ups and downs of women's rights or not rights or blah, 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 or blah, right? To just be sweet and be quiet and just, it's fine. I'll take care of it. I nurture. I'm here for you. And what that is lack of boundaries, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-worth, right? You are worthy. And now I'm not going to the complete other side of this. I think that's why women went to the complete other side of this. What show am I watching right now? Oh my gosh, it's such a good show. Life and Death or something. It's a true story. It's kind of like Fargo. Did you ever watch Fargo?
A little bit.
Okay, if you watched Fargo, you'll get this. It's the same guy. It's the same guy from that weird Matt Damon looking character, but he's like the weird version of Matt Damon. Anyway, it's based off this couple, these families in Texas in like the 70s, I would say, 70s. And the women are just very, exactly what you expect. And so I'm watching this, seeing all these things. And the whole gist of it is that she wants to have an affair because she's bored in her life and she's bored of being ignored and she's bored of not being treated the way that she thinks she needs to be treated. But instead of talking to her husband about these things, she goes and has an affair and finds it in someone else, right? So
whole nother set of problems.
Yeah, whole nother set of problems coming. I mean, it's called Life and Death. So, I mean, you know what's coming. But anyway, that's the whole basis of our community is to strengthen and identify so that we can live this best life. And all that takes is looking at your life that is good and just like adjusting those things that have driven you crazy in the good life, right?
Right. And it doesn't have to be fixed all at once. That's
oh God, no. It's not going to be.
We think it's either going to be black or white, and we always argue that with my husband too, because I always say I'm 50 Shades of Gray.
Yes.
In the
100%.
Spectrum, not the book.
And the book.
And then he's black and white. It's either this
right.
way or it's that way. And I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And I think if you don't live your life as rigid as that, and you kind of can, I always like to put my, I guess, feet in someone else's shoes. And okay, like, how did they get there?
Right.
Because I do think that we pass judgment so fast as a society, and you look at someone and you just think that you have them nailed down. And until we have that connection with them, you don't really know their story and how they got there. And half of them would probably surprise you how they did get there.
Right.
Anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Oh my gosh. We could go on and on and on. We could go on and on. But that's the hardest thing for me is when women come into this community, when they join the sisterhood is what my community is called. And they're not perfect enough or their life's not together enough or they feel like they can't. But the fact of the matter is I want you broken. I want you to tear yourself apart. Because even if you come in at good, I mean, you can be less than good, right? I've had women join that are in the throes of divorce or they whatever. And I explain, like, I will use, for example, someone that said, she owned it. She says, I did some things wrong and now I'm dealing with the consequences of that. So she's in a less than good place, right? She's in a bad place. And I'm like, you made a mistake because you didn't have the tools. Like what we do in the community, in the sisterhood, is we learn the tools of self-worth, self-confidence, mindset, all of these kinds of things, happiness trackers. We've got all these things that teach you how to identify your values. And if you are a person who has those things, who is firm in those things, you wouldn't have maybe made those mistakes because you would have been like, no, I know who I am, right? But because you made those mistakes, you weren't. And so it's hard for me. Right. You've got to break down the programming. And that's what this community is about. But what hurts me, and my husband's like, your community as a business, because he's an entrepreneur. He's like, as a business, is horrifying. And I'm like, I love it. I love it. I absolutely adore it. It's helping so many people and it's beautiful. And because I have these huge dreams of what I want it to be, and it will be, Evonne, it will be. Mark my words, when I'm done having babies and breastfeeding, just kidding. It's happening. When I'm done traveling, we're back. But it's going to be. But what kills me right now is because of all the conditioning, because of society, because of where we are as women, it is so hard for us to believe that this is something that will help or can help, or we can trust it enough to give it not even just a chance, but commit to it. Because it is, like you said, it does not just happen. You don't get to say, okay, my life sucks right now, but maybe if I do this for 3 months, it'll be good in 3 months. Oh, heck no. I think I've asked a lot of women who have been with me for the whole 3 years. I'm like, when did you finally start having like aha moments? Like, oh crap, this is what we were talking about. Oh, I get it. Oh, wait a minute, right? These moments of, and one of them was like, it was a good 6 months. She's like, I kept being like, and she wanted this. Her husband's in the Iron Council. And so she's listened to him and seen his growth. And so she's been was craving a women's community. So she was like, dove in as soon as I opened it. So she's been doing the work. I mean, if anybody could do the work as deep as she's been doing it. And she's like, it was probably a good 6 months before I started being like, oh, but I think once you start making those connections, they come more frequently. They come a lot more frequently. And it's a lot of, you got to take 3 steps back to take a step forward. I mean, sometimes it's 3 steps forward and 1 step back, but depending on how deep the trauma is or how deep the conditioning is, you could be back 5 steps before you start actually digging yourself back out.
Well, I think too that women, we just don't ever put ourselves first. We
No,
always
never.
put someone else there, in front of us. And then and then we don't feel worthy enough that we can invest that into ourselves and that we do deserve to be healed and to be happy. And because, man, I feel like, especially mothers, we just give. And at the end of the day, you're just empty. And
and what does that look like in motherhood? You're giving imagine you're a shell of this human being. You're this husk, dried out husk. And that's what you're giving to these tiny humans that you are you want to love them the most and give them the best of you. And you're not, you're giving them this ugly, gross husk of you. I was, I have firsthand knowledge of this. And so for me, it's so important for me to remember and speak about the importance of your boundaries are necessary. Your needs are necessary and they are not selfish. And it comes from these women that almost become martyrs over it. They're like, oh, I'm falling on my own sword because I'm going to give you the best food, but I'm just going to eat the leftovers and starve and not be nourished. I'm going to stay up all the night so that my husband can sleep and not tell him, hey, I'm really tired. I need some help. But what if your kid falls out of the bed because you're so tired that you're like, right? No, that doesn't help anybody. But I'm not going to disturb my husband. He needs his full 8 hours. No.
Because we don't find ourselves as women because we have to ask for help. And I'm like,
you're not a martyr. Okay. I had some ladies brought this up in our community call. We meet once a week and they brought up that one of them says her mother-in-law, when she comes over to her house and she'll clean and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, if your mother-in-law is like the Marie Barone off Everybody Loves Raymond that is actually telling you you're worthless and you're a horrible person at cleaning, that's rude. Have some boundaries. Tell her, come on. Yep. But no, what you're explaining is bless her heart, mother-in-law is coming over and wants to feel needed. Imagine these women who have just done this their whole lives, taking care of people, and now they got nobody to take care of. And she's coming over to your house and she wants to clean and she wants to cook and she wants to can she come to my house? Can she be my mother-in-law? Hello. She's not saying you're worthless, but women, we hear that. Yeah. We hear if someone tries to help us, My mom, she was in here folding my laundry for me today. She's already done so much around here helping us this weekend. And she comes in, she's like, do you need anything? I'm like, yeah, fold that laundry right there. Get to work, lady. Like, it's a gift. It's a gift when people can help us. I have a friend that she can't. She's a special needs mom. And so it is so heavy, the weight that she carries that's heavy because she thinks of it as it's our problem. And not a problem. We love him. We don't think of him as a problem, but it is our job. Okay, we'll call it that. It's our job. And it's like, it's everybody's job. Every person who loves this child wants to help. They want to help you. So let go a little bit. Relax. That's you. That's a you problem. That's you having too much over this.
You are making up this whole story in your head.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Yeah, it's not true. I'm like, if someone walks up to you and says you suck, then they've expressed to you, and that's fine. They're welcome to have their opinion. It's up to you to just go, it's your opinion. Okay, bye. But if someone has not ever said anything that you're thinking in your mind, oh, they think I'm the worst. Oh, they think I'm not a good mom because my house isn't clean. Oh, I can't keep up with my kids and my job and has anybody ever said that? No. That's a you problem. That's the little voice in your head that's going crazy that you need to get control of. And anyway, that's a lot of the work that we do in the community, and we're there for each other, supporting each other because we're all going through it together, right? It doesn't, we all act like we're so unique in our problems. Like, oh, nobody knows. Nobody feels this way. We all feel this way. And I think the reason I love my podcast the most is if we can talk about these things more and more and more and more women will feel like seen. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one suffering like this, or oh, I'm not the only one that's doing this, or it's okay to actually stand up for myself because look at all these other women doing it too.
When we were at our retreat last month, Aniston did this little exercise and it said, stand up for your sister. So what she did was hand out the papers to all the women and they answered it for themselves. But then we collected all the papers and then we randomly just threw them back out. And then she started naming them. She's like, if this is marked on your paper, stand up. And so, she would say the first thing and then 75% of the women would stand up. And then she's like, look at that. You think that you're in this whole thing by yourself, but you're standing up for the rest of the women in here that are too afraid to say this. And it was like, I just got chills thinking about it. We think that we're so alone and that our problems are so isolated, but they really are not. So many people are going through it. And even the ones that you sit there and you think that they have all their shit together on.
Oh my God.
They're probably the worst one that has so much more that they're trying to deal with and cover up. And that's even another full-time job.
It totally is. I think I like to say, and it's probably super cheesy. I love cheesy. It's fine. Because women tend to isolate. Women think, I don't want to burden someone else, right? I see this firsthand, ladies. I know what I'm talking about. I deal in women, in community. I deal and I watch these women come in and go for why? Why do they leave? And I talk to them and I try to really figure out how can I make this better? How can I make this experience better? How can we grow this bigger and better so that, we want to help more women. We want to get this message out. And women isolate. They think, oh, it's my problem. It's my burden. I'll just take it and go over here and go silent. Right?
No one will understand.
No one. Yeah. Even I don't want to burden you with it, whatever. But I have offered, right? I want to talk to you at least about it. Imagine you're able to just talk to someone about it. And here you are in the darkest ball corner, curled up, and you are able to just talk to someone about what's going on. Offer someone else into what's going on. And that's a beam of light, right? One little beam of light. Now imagine that you decide with this person, okay, you're right. I will do this next. I will take this one little step. And that's another beam of light that comes in. Or you allow another person in, and that's another beam of light. It's like community. That's the beauty of community. I am in a season of abundance, right? I'm in a season of abundance right now. When I gave birth to my baby and I had a C-section, I was not in a season of abundance. I was in a season of lack. I needed to not give my energy. I needed to keep my energy. But guess what? There was a bunch of women who were in their season of abundance that could give that energy on me. They offered to help. They offered to take my burdens from me, right? That's what those beams of light are. That's community. But we have to be brave enough to think to ourselves, this isn't a burden. I'm not a burden. They have offered. They love me. This is all in support, in community. But that's what it takes. It takes being brave enough to see clearly what it actually is. And women, we haven't lived like that. We have not lived like that. We have lived in, they're judging me. Everybody's judging me. Someone's talking about me behind my back.
Or
they're going to keep me down. They're going to belittle me. They don't want me to succeed. They're going to keep me down. And that is truth. It is truth. But no, I'm not here for it.
Well, I told you before the thing that I was going to do rapid fire before we close.
I love
Are you ready? All right, you ready?
Ready.
One word women are tired of hearing.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready?
One word women are tired of hearing.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh my hell, I'm fine. That's a good one. You need more. You need more.
Need more. A habit women should quit immediately.
Thinking they need more. Slow down. You don't need to do more. Do less.
Something that looks like confidence but isn't.
Ooh. Trying to be perfect. Looking perfect.
Something every woman needs more of but won't schedule it.
Oh my gosh. I hate self-care as a term as far as like pedicures. I love pedicures, don't get me wrong. But I think it's just like 30 minutes of silence.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. A truth about womanhood that isn't Instagram friendly.
Oh. That we all fight with our husbands. We all scream at our kids. We all have a messy house. We all have the same shit. We all do. I don't care who you think doesn't. We all do. It's human. We all do.
All right. Last one. Finish the sentence. A revitalized woman refuses to
follow the crowd.
I love that.
Yeah. She's got to pave her own way.
Tell me or tell them where they can find you at and how they can sign up for your community.
Oh my gosh, ladies. I would love it. I would love it. It is honestly the best gift you can give yourself is this community. I do not say that like a salesy sales pitch. It is, I have seen the change. I met these women 3 years ago, a lot of them, and I have watched them. My favorite thing, I'll tell you this example of my favorite person in the whole wide world. She came into me and it's the one I said, she said, I want to be a good wife and a good mother. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I'm a good wife in a way that you're probably not going to think is a good wife. Like, I love fighting with my husband. We have passion. It means that we're willing to fight for each other. But my mom, I said, what's the worst fight you and dad have ever had? She's like, we've never fought. I'm like, what? Baloney. And she's like, he knows it would hurt my feelings. And I'm like, gross. That's gaggy. Right? So what does a good wife actually mean? Because I'm a good wife, but I scream at my husband all the time. So anyway, my beautiful friend, we were in the community, we needed to create teams. And so I needed leaders. And I have something I like to call my magic mirror. And I wish women could see, I feel like I can see people for who they actually are, not for who they think they are, right? Because they're clouded with all of these like limiting beliefs and what other people have told them throughout their lives and whatever, but I can just like see through it. So anyway, this friend of mine, I'm like, you're a leader. You're a born leader. And she's like, you're out of your mind. I will never be a leader. I'm not a leader. She's like, she'd rather just be in the back corner of the room, observing everybody and just loving watching everything go on. And I'm like, you're a leader. I'm going to up. I'm going to shove you to the front of the classroom if it's the last thing I do. But so I made her a leader. I'm like, I believe in you. I think you're a leader. So she became a leader. She's been leading her squad beautifully for almost 3 years, right? Since we started. And I came to her knowing that I was going to be gone this year. And I said, I want to coach you to become a coach. I want you to take this course that I've created and I want you to become a coach. I want you to lead these calls every week while I'm gone. I want you to step into this role. And she's like, are you out of your mind? And anyway, these are things, and she's doing it beautifully. She's doing it beautifully. It's all of these things. And she's got this role in her church that she never dreamed she would do because she didn't think that she was able or had the time or had the confidence or whatever, right? She's got all of these things going. She and her husband communicate so well. She communicates her needs. Whereas before she was just that person that was like, I'll just do it. I'll just do it. I'll just take care of you. I'll just do it. She was burning herself at both ends, right? And she is this strong, beautiful, confident. And I'm going to tell you what, if this isn't a good example, the Revitalized Sisterhood started 3.5 years ago. And in that time, how many of us, Marissa, Jessica, Lindsay, me, Amy, 5 of us have all just had a baby. Women who
I'm staying away.
Women who have no right having babies just had babies. I mean, one of them she was planning it. She was young and that's their first. But one of them's 50 years old, shouldn't be having a baby. And here she is having a baby. I'm 43, had a baby. My sweet friend, she's got 5 kids having a baby, right? Our other friend, she's in her 40s, had a baby, already has 4 kids. Like, I 100% believe it's because of the work we're doing in the sisterhood. They want to be good wives and good mothers. And because of the work we're doing in this community, they're becoming stronger, empowered, self-worth driven women, like taking charge of their lives and communicating with their husbands. And like, it's becoming the better best, right? They're living out their better best. And I think that's the funniest. It clicked like a little while ago. And I was like, oh my gosh, it works. The sisterhood works. If you want to have a baby, if you want a good marriage, you get in here into the sisterhood because I am proof. There's 5 of us that just had babies. It's the funniest thing. But anyway, so sorry, ladies. I'm just all over the place.
I love it.
All over
and
the
I
place.
love you. And I love your story.
Thank you. I know we're like sisters in this.
And we made a promise, 2026.
Pull up the bootstraps and get to work.
We're meeting in person.
Yes.
Here in Wilmington or there in Utah. We're one or the other.
Yes.
One of us are.
One or the other, both. 2026. We can make it all happen. Lady, I love you. Yeah, come find me at revitalizedwomanhood.com. Everything's there. Come listen to my podcast. You can binge it. There's 3 years worth of amazing information on there. Amazing guests like Evonne, and keep listening to her podcast because she is incredible. They are doing wonderful things over there. I have just loved watching your journey, and it's just been evolving, and I've just loved watching it evolve.
You'll never know what next year holds. So
never know. That's the fun.
All right. Love you.
Okay. Love you, lady. Thanks so much.